morning. My name's Sara Rodriguez. Growing up, I never knew what a Christian was. We identified as Christian, but this was in name only. We neither attended church nor learned from the Bible. By the time I was in my teens, I was depressed and viewed Christians as judgmental. I began changing my appearance as much as possible, matching how disturbed I was internally. I tried to find my worth in the approval of others, and as a result, started drinking, smoking, and sinning in every word and deed. There were times where I tried to know God, but without an understanding of sin and salvation, nothing changed. In 2019, I married my high school sweetheart. After some time, we suffered a miscarriage. This was the lowest point in my life. I was completely broken and longed for something to take away those feelings of despair. It was in that brokenness that the Lord reached me. I sought answers in the Bible with a genuine need and desire to know God. I learned how serious sin is, something I had brushed off as we're already forgiven, so it's okay. Learning that Jesus, who was sinless, suffered a death I deserve, I didn't want to make his sacrifice worthless. I began studying and praying and bringing everything to God. I cried out for his mercy, guidance, and put my faith in Jesus Christ. Eventually, I asked my husband to pray with me about having children. I prayed for God's will to be done, but if it was his will, I would raise our children as real Christians. I knew by bringing this to God, I would find peace no matter what. 2 weeks later, I was pregnant. I knew I could trust God's will, whatever it may be. I read scripture out loud to the baby often, and my husband began joining in. Looking back, I can see the many things God has done, but this day comes to mind first. At 38 weeks pregnant, we were at a red light. I felt safe enough to readjust my seatbelt, but became overwhelmed with an urgency to hurry up. I quickly refastened it in its proper place, and a few seconds later, we were rear-ended. Our car was totaled, and an ambulance took us to the hospital. By God's grace, we were relatively unharmed. The next day, our daughter was born, healthy and beautiful. Without God's protection, perhaps my daughter and I would not be here. As soon as we were able, we looked for a church, and God's perfect timing led a wonderful family to introduce us to CBC. Through the pastor's teachings and being a part of the Christian family, I continue to learn and grow in my walk with Christ. It is not easy, and I'm fighting daily to deny myself and lean on Christ in everything, but where my strength fails, Christ is my strength, and where I fall short, Christ has redeemed me. In taking the next step in my walk with Christ, I am ready to be baptized and show that I give my life to the one who gave his life for me. I pray that he uses my life for his will, in which I trust fully. Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Thank you.